How do you guys approach that, I guess, newfound competition from the likes of Amazon? Even Flexport has recently launched this whole encompassing supply chain delivery service and so forth.
Yeah. So indeed, right, the value we provide to our brands and to our clients is that we are a logistics network as opposed to one leg of a logistics service. We're fundamentally a network, a logistics platform that gives you an end-to-end supply chain offering. And so far, these logistics networks have mainly been built by marketplaces. That's Amazon, that's Alibaba with Cainiao, that's, for example, Lazada and Shopee in Southeast Asia, where we have a big presence. And that's largely been because these e-commerce platforms had to build it, right? They had to build those distribution networks, but they're typically walled gardens, right? Because Amazon has built an Amazon supply chain that was meant to fortify and be a competitive mode for Amazon. And the same happens with, for example, Lazada in Southeast Asia and so on. While these platforms are now discovering that they have such a big logistics and supply chain footprint and that they could also open this to third-party customers and could potentially also support business outside of their own marketplace, we believe that fundamentally our DNA as an open commerce infrastructure platform is very different. Because our DNA is client first, is brand first. We don't have a marketplace that we try to protect from competition. Our only stakeholder is the brand, right? And that means we're always merchant first, brand first. Like the first thing we wake up in the morning is how can we make life better for our merchants, for our brands? And it's the last thing we think about when we go to bed. And that means we are by definition open. We support orders on Amazon, on Shopify, on any other brand.com platform, on TikTok Shop, on any sales channel that comes in. We immediately think, how do we make it as easy, as frictionless as possible for our brands to take advantage of these new platforms? When your core business, that is 99% of your business, is actually a marketplace, is actually a consumer business, then you're always torn because your DNA is to protect your marketplace, to protect your consumer business. And yeah, the B2B arm is a little bit of enablement, a little bit of monetizing your merchant base, but actually you kind of want to keep them within your walled garden because that's your moat, right? And in a way, to make the B2B business really successful, those B2C platform companies would have to destroy their own moat by democratizing it for all. And that's actually not that easy. So I think while those marketplace logistics offerings, in particular niche offerings, can be quite powerful and they have economies of scale and so on, I think the biggest hurdle they have is that they're not truly open and not truly brand and merchant first, because actually where you make your money is on the consumer platform side of the business. So in a way, you said this is their biggest advantage. They have the end customers. I think it's always a duality. In a way, that's an advantage. In a way, that's also the biggest weakness because you're actually a consumer business that also dabbles in B2B services, not a B2B services business that lives and breathes and dies with serving brands in the best possible way.
Right. Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense to me. Their focus is always on their platform, which is to on-sell the products to their final customers, and therefore that is their main focus of business model. And therefore the services they offer to their sellers plays second fiddle to the main, which is making sure that their e-commerce platform is profitable. Is that right in what you're trying to suggest?
Yeah, I think for us, the key is make the brand successful, right? And what does the brand want? It's not, we don't say, oh, we have this infrastructure that we anyway had to build for our consumer business. Let's try to monetize it with a bit of B2B. It's the other way around, right? What do we do to make the brand successful? So if you're a brand, do you want to sell on Amazon? I think for 80% of our customers, yes, for sure. Do you also want to sell on other channels? Yes, for 95% of our customers, absolutely. I want to build my brand.com because I want to have a direct customer relationship and I want to own my customer data. Do I want to give the customer data from my brand.com to the marketplace? Maybe not. I want to have an omni-channel business where I can do agile stock replenishment to the retail outlets from the same store from the same stock I have in my warehouse for my e-commerce business, right? And I also want to be on other marketplaces, like maybe TikTok Shop now, right? Above all, I want to be in control because this is my brand and my business. And I definitely leverage the marketplaces that they are. Amazon is great, has a lot of traffic, but it also has its own platform governance. It uses its data and it uses your data in the way that it's most relevant for Amazon. It also has private label. It has a retail business with which just compete against you. So it's like you want to play on their platform, but maybe you don't want to be 100% dependent on it.
Yes.
Certainly not with your second and third leg business, your omnichannel retail business and your brand.com business.
Yes.
And some brands might choose differently, but I think many of the brands we work with quite deliberately value Locat because it's an open platform that is merchant first without any other interest. And then they leverage that to sell on Amazon and we fulfill those orders, to sell on brand.com, to sell on any other marketplace, because that gives the brand control.
It gives a bit of more independence from those. I mean, they might sell on those channels, but they are still sort of in control without any sort of competing agendas being, I guess, infiltrated by Amazon, or they're putting different layers of control over how they sell their products. I think that's what you're saying, right?
Including things that you want that a marketplace might not want, right? Like maybe you want custom packaging for your brand.com channels. You want certain inlays. You certainly want to own your customer data. And with Locat, we have no other interest in your customer data other than displaying it to you, right? We don't use that data to determine what private label product we launch next or where we can increase the take rate to squeeze out a bit more marginality from the brand, right? Like these are all the things as marketplaces are now maturing. It's ultimately a game of how much rent does the marketplace get, how much margin, and how much does the retailer get. And I think brands are increasingly quite sensitive to that and realize that you want to play there, but you want to not be entirely dependent.
Are they as savvy as you suggest, though?
Not always. Not always.
Yeah.
I think there is a consultative approach that we have to take.
Yeah.
They have their vision for their product. They have a vision for their brand. They know where they want to be, but they don't necessarily know all the steps. And then the ecosystem of the freight forwarding, of, the e-commerce support system, that's where we've come in.
Yeah.